president. The only vote there will be is the dissolving of the corporate charters, and that the states will all become republics again. If you still hold the voter's card in your pocket, I'm going to beat you to death. Your rescission, rescind that immediately from this day forward. Now is the time. I've been waiting 25 or 30 years to tell you that. The time is now. It took this effort, this growth, which, if you would have asked me 10 years ago, I said we're never going to achieve it in my lifetime. Now I can remember when I was going to teach at 20 people, and then it was the same 20 people the next month, and the same 20 people after that, maybe one new guy. And boy, did I get to pick on him. And it just went along like this for a long, long time. That was the first decade. And the second decade, it might have tilted up just a little bit. The third decade, it just started to tilt up a little more. And then since September 23rd of 2017, it just decided to take off and close its landing gear. And I don't think there's a dang thing I can do to stop it if I quit tomorrow. You guys are brilliant. Go start spreading the word. The amount of state nationals are joining right now, and it'll never happen fast enough for me, but if everybody just brought one, we'd be at 50 million by April. You bring one person in and get their AOR done, we'll be at 50 million. You know what happens at 50 million, bring in one? We're at 100 million. No, we're not. We'll be on almost 200. That's just the way it works. It is. Can you imagine 200 million people jumping off the ship, swimming ashore? Voting with their feet? The only vote that counts. As long as you stay in the slavery system, you will continue to be a slave. And stuff will happen in spite of you. Do you want it to happen in spite of you, or you want to control what happens? The only way you're going to control what happens is to be a free man or woman under the peace flag of the United States of America and tell them to stop declaring war on our people. I would like to bend over my friend Doug Mastriano and kick him right in the ass. He won that election in Pennsylvania as governor, and he did not fight for it. He's still a senator of Pennsylvania. But he did not fight hard enough, and he conceded. When we were screaming at him, "Don't concede, Doug!" He conceded. He had the power as senator, running for governor, to stop the voter fraud, and he didn't do it because he was afraid politically. This is a lifetime military retired man who led NATO. He was in charge of NATO. And Senator Doug Mastriano dropped the ball into the great state of Pennsylvania. And if he would have been governor, he had already told us within 90 days, everyone in the state of Pennsylvania would have their property back and out from underneath warranty deeds and abstracts and be in land patent. Do you understand how important that would have been to our nation and set an example? That one state, if Oklahoma gets this bill passed, and everybody in Oklahoma better go work on that. Tell your neighbors how important that is. Write letters. Get on that letter-making machine and just email every representative in Oklahoma and tell them you want the Republic of Oklahoma back. Dissolve that state of Oklahoma corporate construct. You don't know this, but I hope the North American Indians of Oklahoma get half their state back. And maybe that'll piss somebody off, but it was a necessary thing to prove sovereignty. And we all should want that. See, we the people are sovereign. President Trump says it over and over and over again. The Bible says it over and over and over again. God said His Son, Jesus Christ, His Son, that He is the King of kings. And we're to be the King of kings. And He is our King of kings, of all kings. He is our King of all kings. We're supposed to be a king and queen too. Not in the literal bestowment, but from God. Not a man. Not a king of man, but a king of kings. Our Father, which art in heaven. He never said, I'm the king of slaves. He spent the whole entire Bible leading the slaves out of captivity. What do you think this king is doing? Come out of her, O ye Babylon, that corporate construct. Stop being a slave class citizen. Gosh, I love those shirts. Daniels, you guys. And I saw that shirt on him and my brakes stopped. I stared at him and I looked at him. That beautiful man right there, that shirt. It's what I've been teaching for 35 years. If you call yourself a citizen, you call yourself a resident, you call yourself a person, you're committing sin. Job 32, 21 and 22 says, be the man and not the person. Do not put flattering titles of person upon a man. For if you do, I'll surely take you away. He's just telling you right there, that's a sin to accept the person. You don't know what the person is. It's the purser on the ship. The word of person is purser. Purser, person is an office of. It's the purser on a ship. All airplanes have a purser. All big boats called ships have pursers. What's their job? Look at Wikipedia. It's not the best dictionary in the world, but it says it really well. A purser is a signatory. Wait a minute. All your life, he says, we're told sign here, sign here, sign here. Why? Because you're the signatory. Acting as purser on the ship. But wait a minute. The vessel's in your all caps name. Don't you own it? Or are you just the employee, the taxpayer, the person that all statutes are written for? See, statutes are written for persons. And yet God says, be the man and not the person. Don't put flattering titles of person or purser upon the man. For if you do, I'll surely take you away. He'll snatch you up, throw you down to hell for your sin. He commands you to come out of her, O ye Babylon. Babylon's the first corporate city in the world. So why did he pick that city to tell you to come out of? He could have said, come out of Jerusalem. No. He picked Babylon because that's the corporate construct. Understand that's what that means. Why does a person start a corporation? Liability. To protect themselves from liability. So the city of Babylon just didn't want any liability from its people. Then they can do whatever the heck they want. Got myself on that one. You saw that, right? Halfway through that word. I turned it, or either that or I was just speaking Texan. Yeah. It's to protect from liability. Do we want government not to be liable? If they're not liable, they have what? Immunity. Every one of them would like to tell you that they have immunity. Well, I'll tell you what, the only kind of immunity they have is called federal qualified immunity in the law. And in order to have federal qualified immunity, they've got to follow the Bible, our four founding documents, our constitutions, and our treaties. If they don't follow those, they violate our rights enumerated in the Constitution and other places in treaty, then they lose all federal qualified immunity. And this is why we've removed more than 4,000 judges off the bench. We have one case going on in Missouri, a neighboring state, and we're on our 13th judge. 12 of them have left or retired. And I don't like that word retirement. When a judge gets that out of their mouth on their way out, it pisses me off because, see, Congress gave them a way out. It's called the HISS Act, H-I-S-S. Under the HISS Act, if a judge mentions the word retirement on his way out, he gets all of his retirement benefits and pay and can come back to review a case anytime he wants. Isn't that cool? That's when we have to take them to court and call them out for capital felony treason against the people because they created war. Ask a police officer if they own their own home. And if he says yes, you say, what kind of deed do you have? And if he has a warranty deed, which they all do, you say, do you know what warranty means in the law? Let's look at it. That's the reason I wrote it this way. A rant. A rant. I don't like what you're doing. And if you're going to do it, we're going to war. A war rant. Police officers issue war rants all the time. It's a declaration of war. A rant is a declaration in the law. I declare it. It's a rant. A declaration of war. You know what T is? Oh, government sold you on that one. They started with your toaster and your television. And then they worked their way up to your automobile, so you wouldn't own that either. That's why you have a certificate of title, even if you paid cash. A certificate of title is just certifying that there's a title out there somewhere, and you don't have it. Because gave it up to the state when you gave up the MCO, the manufacturer's certificate of origin. Every manufacturer is required to issue with every piece of equipment that can go on the roadways, even a bicycle, a certificate of origin. I built hydroponic equipment on trailer frames, and I had to stamp the frame with an ODOT number and issue a manufacturer's certificate of origin for it. A hydroponic trailer that grows food, and it had to have an ODOT. Department of Transportation number. T, I don't care how it's spelled, it could be T-E-E or T-E or T-Y.